coffee's ready. This is episode 2 of Coffee Movement Chats. Shit, that's nice. Yo, what's up? Welcome back. We got another Coffee Movement Chats coming at you now. I haven't made the coffee yet. I'm gonna make it now, so grab one and join me. And just while I'm doing this, I'm gonna explain what Coffee Movement Chats is, why I do this. Number one, because I like coffee. I like coffee a lot. I like to chat when I'm having coffee with other people. And I also like talking about movement a lot. So Coffee Movement Chats was my masterpiece or my masterful creation to share concepts around human movement, to share concepts around life, to share concepts around why the hell are we all struggling so much? Why are we complicating things so much? My mission really is to show you that it's actually not complicated and it's not some complex math problem, complex science problem that needs to be resolved from a lab study. To move without pain, to move in a way that feels good, and to move in a way that you actually don't have fear around movement is actually quite straightforward. And I think today's topic is going to be very applicable to that. This is episode 2 of Coffee Movement Chats, and the topic I want to talk about today is about the ingrained blueprint that we have as humans for movement. So it's almost like we have this base level software that is pre-programmed before we're born. And I've heard a lot of people talk about programming and comparing humans to computers in this way, like software, hardware. And I don't think it's actually a direct comparison, but I do think that it's a useful thought experiment to really explore these topics and to get a better understanding, because for me it really helped a lot, and it really helped minimize how colossal the task seemed for me 6 years ago when I was in a really bad place, a really dark place with injuries and with a few other things. So in this topic today, we're going to make a couple of assumptions about the human body, okay? I'm going to assume that the human body has an ingrained, a pre-programmed way of moving, okay? So it's like we've got, imagine like a robot. Again, I don't want to compare humans to computers too much, but imagine you've got like a robot, or you've got some kind of piece of machinery, and it's got a pre-programmed, or a set of pre-programmed instructions for how it should operate. And I believe that the human body has these things. It has minimum standards for health, for movement, for all these aspects of what it is to be a human. And I believe that if we have this, then all we need to do is get back more in that and understand what that is, and that makes the task a lot more simple. So if we are abiding by, this is another assumption we're going to make here, if we're abiding by the principles and the software that we're programmed with, so we're going to call these like our natural blueprint for how our body moves, okay? If we assume that we should move with a certain type of patterning, if we assume that when I step my foot forward and my foot hits the floor, a certain sequence of things in an ideal world should happen, and then as I land and start to transfer my weight to that leg and then go to the other side, that these things should have a sequencing, okay? Like an inbuilt sequencing that's already pre-programmed, and all we need to do essentially is just run that program over and over again. The problem is when we deviate from that program, when we start to, we start to sit for long periods of the day, we get an injury, we start to train in certain ways that doesn't respect that, then we start to move away from that. And what if pain, what if all these things we're experiencing in terms of the degradation of our bodies over time and all these joint replacement surgeries that we have, what if the reason why so many people are experiencing that is because we're not actually following or sticking to the pre-programming that's in our bodies, the natural movement blueprint. And for me, when I had so many different injuries happen, and when I was in that really dark place after having multiple surgeries, the task seemed colossal, because even before that, nobody could help me. And I never thought of it in this way, that what if I actually just figure out what is that blueprint. How does the body expect to move? How is it actually made up to move? Because if you assume that every single muscle, every single joint, every single tendon, every single ligament in your body has a specific role and function and a specific direction and patterning of movement, then all you need to do is make sure that your body and those individual pieces can do that in a cohesive way. This isn't about isolation training. That's very different, because isolation training of a muscle is not how that muscle or that ligament or that tendon is supposed to function. It's supposed to function and carry out its role in cohesion and in connection with other parts of the body, which, in my opinion, from the research I've done, will come back to walking. Essentially, walking is our blueprint. That is how we're designed to get through the world. It's the primary function of our body in movement. So to kind of like tie this all together a little bit better, number one, imagine we have a blueprint for movement, okay? A natural ingrained blueprint from wherever, from evolution, okay? We've evolved over hundreds of thousands of years to move in a certain way. The human body is highly resilient by default, okay? We wouldn't have survived without nice houses with heating or nice morning coffees. We didn't have all of these things through evolution. The world was a tough place and we needed to be physically resilient and physically strong, and we still have that within us. And it seems like we don't. It seems like our bodies are broken. But if we assume that we're resilient, if we assume we have a natural blueprint of movement, if we assume that if we give the body those things and if it can move in that way, then we assume that the body will be resilient, it will be strong, it will be robust, it will have longevity in its movement, it will move pain-free, because that's how it's designed to move. Pain is an indicator, it's a signal to us that we're not moving and we're not doing things the way that we were designed to do things. Our body expects different things to happen, but it's not happening, okay? And we start to ingrain poor patterns. So getting out of pain is as simple as understanding what the blueprint is. How are we designed to move? How is each part of our body designed to move? What is the function and role of individual parts and how they're supposed to move together? If we can just move back towards that, then getting out of pain and staying out of pain in the long term, and actually being able to have that physical resilience, that physical longevity and capacity that we should all have as humans, that no longer becomes a colossal task. And that's the mission I set out on, to find that out. And I'm not an expert in it and I haven't found every single detailed piece, but I have a pretty good understanding of what human movement should look like and how we can train it. So just imagine that it's that simple, okay? Run that thought experiment in your own head, because for me that was huge. It actually ties really nicely into the first episode about sovereignty, movement sovereignty, understanding your own body, and you have the final say. And if you can understand how your body is designed to move naturally, biomechanically, how are you supposed to move, then pain will disappear, okay? People always want to overcomplicate these things. It's just like fucking nutrition. We want to overcomplicate it, and there's somebody else selling the complicated solution to the problem that's actually not complicated. It's really simple. And for me, it's actually the same for movement. But it all starts with an understanding and an awareness. But okay, coffee's ready. Went to AeroPress this morning. Cheers, guys. But that's it. That's it for today. Like the idea is, imagine and consider that we have a natural blueprint. We need to respect that blueprint in order for the body to thrive, in order for the body to not feel pain, in order for the body to be resilient. That's what resilient is. We can do things to a high level over and over again without pain and without breaking down, okay? So just think of that. What if there is certain ways you're supposed to move, and what if you just started training those a little bit more? How would your body change? How would you feel? How would your experience of life be? Could you do the things that you always wanted to do? And for me, in my experience, the answer for me was yes, because I'm so grateful now to wake up every morning, make my coffee, and be ready to train if I want to train, to be ready to just go for a walk or go for a run if I want to go for a walk or a run, because that's what our bodies physically are literally designed to do, to walk, to run, to move, okay? Our bodies are there to be respected, but be used in ways that help us to enjoy life. So that's the key takeaway from today. I want you to ask yourself the question, what if my body has already inside it a specific blueprint and program for how to move well, how to move without pain? What if that was the case? And if that was the case, how far have I deviated from it? And what do I need to do to get back to it? Because no matter what injuries you're experiencing, there's none of them that can't be solved by returning to the abilities that we should have, which is our natural movement patterns, okay? So grab the coffee, guys, watch this back, ask yourself the questions, grab a journal, write it down, whatever it is that you need to do, get yourself into a good place where you're happy, where you're calm, and ask yourself these questions, and then seek the solutions. And the solutions are going to be, number one, first, in developing your own awareness and reclaiming that sovereignty, like I talked about in episode 1. So make sure you check that out as well. It's not that fucking complicated, guys. It's not nice. I was in a really dark place when I was having multiple surgeries, when my joints were all popping out of place, all of these things. It is a shit fucking place, but it's not that complicated. And people will make you think that it is complicated and make you think that it's all out of your hands. It's absolutely not. It's absolute bullshit. Those people are talking bullshit. So reclaim your power. That is the number one step, okay? That has to happen first. And once you do that, then the world is your oyster, okay? But go get it, guys. I'm gonna wrap this one up here. I'm gonna go finish my coffee. I'm gonna get some moving done as well. Have a strong day, guys. Stay resilient, stay strong. The solutions are out there and it is quite simple. So go get it, and peace out, guys. Chat to you soon.